All right, Miles, time to talk about the Cleveland Browns. This is a team that finished off the season. Look, everyone kind of knew with the issues at quarterback this season was going to be really tough for them. They had a good kind of run there in the middle, but they didn't finish the way they probably liked, finish 7-10 on the season, missing out in the playoffs, obviously. But it looks like the Browns are making some really good moves that'll fix a lot of their problems. Frankly, their biggest problem going forward for the 2023 season. In my eyes, I know you got the specifics on a big story coming out of Cleveland. But before I hand it over to you, Browns fans, look, I already talked about it, kind of a disappointing end to the season, but a bright future in front of you. You just got some things to fix, some areas to address. Let us know in the comment section below what positions you want to see Cleveland address this offseason, whether free agency, draft, trade, otherwise. Let us know what position you want the Browns to handle in this offseason. But Miles, go ahead and give us the latest out of Cleveland.
Yeah, Nick, I think what the Browns fans will say in the comments, I don't know for sure. The offensive side of the ball is looking pretty good overall if Watson ends up panning out. I think that's the final piece to this offense. Obviously, elite rushing game, very good offensive line, some weapons, and Njoku, Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones. That is good. Defense, a little lackluster this year, Nick. I think per PFF, 25th rated overall. Defense, not the best. Obviously, that is why they have moved on from Joe Woods. But we have some good news, Nick. I think there's a way they can bounce back immediately, and that is by looking at new defensive coordinators. And there's one in particular I think would be a good fit for the Browns. That is none other than current Steelers assistant linebackers coach, I think special or linebacker coach and special assistant defensive coordinator, some long convoluted title there. Former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores. He is out there, Nick, and his name has been floated around as a big defensive coordinator candidate. I think he'd be good because he came into the Pittsburgh this year and really elevated that defense once again. Historically great defense, but by the help of Flores, he always seems to have a lot of really great defenses. And I just think that can alone help. There's obviously a lot of great pieces on the Browns defense. They just need someone to come in and do a little bit better of a job than Woods did. I think he's going to be a great fit here, Nick, especially having a ton of time in the AFC North already with the Steelers. He's already gotten acclimated to that kind of hard-nosed, defensive, run-the-ball kind of thing going on in the AFC North. What do you think about the potential of Flores coming to Cleveland?
Yeah, I think it's an absolutely outstanding move by the Browns if they pull it off. And I think the reports are he is the favorite, if I'm not mistaken, to land that DC job. At least how it sits right now. I think you hit the nail right on the head, though, Mize. It's his familiarity with the AFC North that's really going to separate him and create a lot of value for the Browns if they bring him on fold. And I think they will. Because remember, this is a guy, as part of the Steelers coaching staff last year, intercepted Joe Burrow 6 times in 2 games against the Bengals. The Steelers did, right? So he knows Joe Burrow. He knows how to play him. He knows how to make Joe Burrow's life tough. How about Brian Flores' game plan famously against Lamar Jackson on that primetime game with the Ravens came down in Miami where they ran that funky cover 0 all-out blitz all game long, and the Ravens had no answer, kind of embarrassed Lamar Jackson on national television, frankly. So he knows how to handle the Ravens and Greg Roman and all that. And, of course, he just spent a lot of time with the Steelers and Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, saw him all day in practice, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, that entire crew. So he knows how to handle and counter them as well. So this is a guy, right? He knows how to go up against. He's had a proven track record against the Cleveland Browns AFC North division opponents. He knows the players, knows the schemes, and I think he can just come in and fit and really maximize the talent that you alluded to that the Browns have on the defensive side of the ball and put them in positions to be successful. Because I think that's what Woods was screwing up, right? He was getting maybe a little too cute at times. I think Flores can understand what they can do, put them in position to be successful, and let these really talented defensive players just execute. Because I think if they can get out of their own way, the Browns could have a potentially really dominant defense.
Yeah, Nick, and it showed down the stretch. The Browns, they got so close in some of these games. You look at the games that they lose here at the end. The Saints, just a touchdown away. Steelers, they play a little bit better defense there. Maybe they can win that game as well. The Bengals, that's a close game. 23 points scored. That offense starts clicking. The defense plays just a tad bit better. They can win that game as well. They were very close in a lot of these games, and just the defense kind of deteriorating down the stretch is a detriment. And now with the development of Watson and hopefully the blossoming of this offense, I think the Browns are going to be very dangerous, and especially if they can get a top-tier defense once again, this team is going to be looking like a playoff contender and potentially AFC North champion contender. So I would look out for them in the coming season, especially if they're able to land Brian Flores.
Yeah, because you look back at last season, right, and everything is right. People forgot because it happened so long ago. They had the New York Jets beat. They gave up 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes, and of course, the onside kick that should have been a win. They gave up 38 points to the terrible Patriots offense. Like everybody can, no one, the Patriots can't score on anybody, right? They were terrible offensively. You know, the Patriots, of course, are about to look for a new offensive coordinator right now. The Matt Patricia experiment failed miserably, except against Cleveland and Joe Woods. They scored 38 points there. The Steelers scored 28 points, like you alluded to. You know, obviously Buffalo and Miami put up a lot of points, but that's a little bit more forgivable. But I guess my point is, Miles, is they have the talent to do it. And if they just handle their business defensively, even last year in a couple key games, this is a team that could have been in the playoffs or at least in the hunt, right? They only finished a couple games out. If they hold on against the Jets, don't collapse against New England and do a better job against Pittsburgh, who knows, right? They could be in the playoffs. And that's how close they were, even with all the struggles this season. I think bringing in Flores and kind of fixing those issues on the defensive side of the ball may quietly be one of the bigger moves we hear about this offseason. I think the Browns would be smart to go ahead and knock that down or nail that down as quickly as possible because I think he could have a massive impact.